Welcome to WFA Global Marketer Week in Toronto. Bienvenue à Toronto Global Marketer Week. My name is Stephan Loerke. I'm going to be moderating our conference today. I'm the CEO of the World Federation of Advertisers. What a pleasure to be here, and what a fantastic turnout. Now, Moya mentioned it. We've got 700 delegates from over 40 countries with us here in Toronto. A very warm welcome to you all. Now, I appreciate that not all of you may be that familiar with WFA, so let me just say a few words of intro. WFA is the only global organization bringing together brand owners. Yeah? So we've got brands from Red Bull to Coca-Cola, Nike to Adidas, Procter & Gamble, and Nestle, and many more. We're exclusively for brand owners. So no platforms, no agencies, no publishers. We're the global organization for brand owners. We also have in membership national advertiser associations in the 60 top ad markets: China, US, Japan, Australia, South Africa, Brazil, UK, and many more. And obviously in Canada, ACA. Collectively, we represent 90% of global ad spend. And here's our latest intro video.
Today, more than ever, the world needs leaders. This is where you'll find them. We unite over 150 of the largest, most innovative multinational companies, together with 60 leading advertiser associations from across 6 continents. WFA is the only truly global network for senior marketers. We help you, our members, deliver more effective marketing and grow stronger, more sustainable brands. Attract and nurture the best talent and keep enhancing your skills. Strengthen your internal and external global marketing organizations. Develop future-ready strategies to put you ahead of market trends and regulations. Lead from the front, harnessing the power of marketing to address the world's most pressing challenges. Our collective knowledge and insight are unparalleled. The key to helping you achieve your goals and ambitions and change the world for the better. Now's the time to become a marketing leader. The WFA, the only global network for senior marketers.
Now, before we jump into today's agenda, I'd like to say a big thank you to all our Global Marketer Week sponsors, and in particular, a huge thank you to the main sponsors of Global Marketer Week 2024, Adform, Ubiquity, Meta, Google, RTL Ad Alliance, as well as today's conference sponsor, WFA. There are an incredible bunch of first-class partners with which it's a privilege to be working. And now we're going to be hearing briefly from WFA.
Trusted data, dynamic AI activation, superior outcomes. Media buyers want to maximize advertising performance and improve the KPIs that matter to their business. However, market forces such as increased privacy regulations, the deprecation of cookies, and the rise of artificial intelligence are changing the digital advertising ecosystem as we know it. Scibids AI enables global brands to analyze a multitude of data variables to build custom algorithms that drive specific KPIs and tangible outcomes. In-market testing with Fortune 500 brands demonstrated the efficacy of our solution, with results across several campaigns, on average showing a 63% increase in attention levels, a 45% reduction in media CPMs, and a 95% increase in impressions won. It's time to get more from your media buying with Scibids AI. Trusted data, dynamic AI activation, superior outcomes.
Now, a quick call out also to 2 other partners that are very close to our heart. Scribeer will be creating for us a mural just outside of the conference room, picking up real-time the key insights of this conference and translating on the mural. The other one I'd like to call out is FE's Global. So FE stands for Marketing Effectiveness all around the world. And FE's Global have produced a bespoke booth for us that you'll find in the round room. And honestly, try and find time to go and check out Square Beer and FX Global, you love it. Now, an exciting premiere in Global Market Week. A competition for you amazing delegates. Now, before I talk about the price, let me give you a bit of feedback, background. Yeah? Our industry has an issue. We're increasingly struggling to attract the best talent into our industry. We're facing competition. Consulting, investment banking, Silicon Valley, you name it, we struggle. And well, we'd like to hear from you how you would be pitching a career in marketing to a young talent. Okay? So how can you participate in the competition today? Very easy. You scan the QR code. Those who sit at tables will find the QR code on table toppers. And you share with us in one sentence, okay, very succinct, in one sentence, how would you pitch a career in marketing to a young talent? And the price, a round trip to Global Market Week 2025 and 3 nights accommodation in Mumbai, India, okay? Mumbai, India. I can see delegates already busy here. So, we've got a panel of students from Rossman School of Management who are going to be reviewing the submissions, and we're going to be announcing the winner after lunch today, okay? So get your creative juices going and share with us how you would be pitching a career in marketing. Now, not surprisingly, Toronto and Canada have very positive connotations for people all around the world. You're not going to be surprised to hear that. And we ran a little survey among our members all around the world to ask them, what is the preferred thing for them about Canada, okay? And with some interesting responses. And let's see if you can guess what people prefer about Canada, okay? There's a podium here behind me. 1, 2, 3. What do you think came in number 3? Any idea? No? Maple, no? No? Hockey, ice hockey. Number 3. Number 2. Nature. Untouched nature. Canadian landscapes. Number 1 rather. Number 1. You're far too modest. People. You guys are incredibly popular all around the world. You are the stars. Well done. And this is a real survey, huh? This is a real survey. Now, back to our agenda today. WFA's purpose holds in 2 words, better marketing. Okay? We're determined to drive marketing that is more responsible, more effective, and more sustainable. And we do that by focusing on 5 priority areas. And you see that in the back here, what we call the better marketing atom. And each of those areas, we're driving initiatives that seek to transform the way we drive and we do marketing today. I'm going to share with you a few of those initiatives that I think are particularly relevant in today's conversation. And let me start with reputation and responsibility. There's no such thing as a God-given right to advertise. Advertisers have a license to operate. Advertisers can lose that license to operate. In order to protect it, they need to keep up with a rapidly changing society. And that can be tough. Just think about green claims, marketing to kids, privacy. Working closely with their marketing colleagues is going to be indispensable for them in order to be understanding where the journey is heading. And we're determined to help our marketers make sense of those changes and preempt them. We actually released yesterday the framework for better marketing practices. It identifies the sort of core sensitive issues around marketing, and it offers an overview of what are the risks and opportunities, What does good look like on the basis of case studies of the best in class? And it offers very practical tools and guidance for marketers to be making the right choices. Okay? If you're interested, you can find it on our website, WFA website. It was published yesterday. Now, apropos responsibility in marketing, we're all witnessing how Gen AI is taking marketing by storm. And according to research that we ran among our members last month, 97% of WFA members are either using Gen AI in marketing or about to use it. Yeah? So we're not talking about future scenarios, we're talking about this happening now. Now, marketers are excited about the potential, yeah? McKinsey say they are seeing impacts of Gen AI in marketing that are transformative. Just to give you 2 examples, we're seeing conversion rates up by plus 40%, thanks to hyper-personalization, and we're seeing an acceleration of speeds to gather insights by a factor of 20. So the opportunities to increase productivity and drive growth are such that wait and see is not an option for marketers. But this hyper-excitement of marketers is not shared by everyone in the company, and that's probably an English understatement, yeah? And here's what we found in that same research. We asked marketers, can you rate for us, on a scale from 0 to 10, how excited you are about Gen AI in marketing? I'll let you guess. 7.5 out of 10, so really pretty excited about Gen AI in marketing. We asked exactly the same question to their legal colleagues. How excited are you about Gen AI in marketing? I think you guessed, yeah? 4.5 out of 10. Now, I must admit that the legal folks might have a point, by the way. They might have a point. In that same research, we found that 50% of our members were using third parties in their Gen AI for marketing. 50%. 3% understood how those third parties were using Gen AI on their behalf. 3%. And 8% had a policy in place to guide those third parties. So there may be an issue actually here. And not surprisingly, we're starting to see a few AI malfunctions. You may have seen this. Air Canada being ordered to pay compensation of its chatbot gave customer inaccurate and misleading information. Now, Air Canada did try to argue that the bot was responsible for its own actions. But that didn't fly with the judge. So we are determined to support our members in making sense of all the opportunities, but at the same time mitigating the risks. Okay? And so we've created the WFA AI community that brings together members from all functions: media, marketing, sourcing, insights, legal, in order to get a proper cross-functional view of the opportunities, but also of the risks. And what we want to do is we want to accelerate learnings, okay? We want to avoid that every single company needs to go through trial and error. And that's what this community is going to do. It was launched last week, and it's going to be available to all our members. If you want to join, here's the QR code. Now, another theme that is very important to us is the climate transition. We're all witnessing the very first real manifestation of changing weather patterns, and I think you in Canada are particularly well placed to measure what it means, yeah? It's high time for our industry to accelerate its climate transition strategy. High time. Because the carbon footprint of advertising, believe it or not, is not insignificant. I don't know if you knew, but for an FMCG company, the carbon footprint of advertising is upwards of 10%. For a company operating in luxury fashion, it can be upwards of 25%. And for companies operating in the service sector, upwards of 40%. Now, we can do it. Carbon is often seen, cutting carbon is often seen as to be an additional cost. In our case here, when it comes to media campaigns, it isn't. We've got plenty of evidence that cutting carbon is an opportunity to cut wastage and cut fraud. So believe it or not, we've got a series of 10 practices from over 40 companies that demonstrate reductions of carbon footprint of up to 30%, an increase of productivity of 40%. So what are we waiting for? GARM has produced a GARM Quick Actions Guide that you'll find on our website last June, and there are a number of quick actions that can be taken by every single company. Now, why aren't we scaling this across the industry? The response is we're about to do it. And I've got a scoop for you. We're going to be announcing in a month's time in Cannes, at Cannes Lions, at Net Zero and Global Alliance for Responsible Media, the first ever global media carbon emissions framework. Now, I don't want to sort of oversell it, because this is the beginning of the journey rather than the end of the journey. However, it's the first time our industry is going to have a framework that will enable transparency and accountability. Publishers, platforms, agencies are going to report their footprint according to a consistent metrics. Today, that's far from being the case. That's really, really important. And let me make a prediction. I think in the not too distant future, big clients are going to optimize their ad campaigns against effectiveness and against carbon. Now, a quick parenthesis to share how WFA are trying to put into practice what we preach when it comes to carbon. So we're working with a third-party auditing company that measures our annual carbon footprint every year. And we're taking action. We've launched new meeting formats that minimize delegate travel. That's a big source of carbon for us. We've switched energy supplier to 100% energy, renewable energy. And we're encouraging staff to cycle and walk to the office. But all this is small potatoes compared to the one activity every year that generates the largest carbon footprint. And that's Global Market Week. So in Toronto, Global Market Week 2024 will have a carbon footprint of 1,225 tons. That's double our carbon footprint last year in Istanbul. And there's one reason for that. We've got a record number of delegates who've traveled intercontinental to join us here in Toronto. So it's wonderful news for the conference. It's sold out. It's wonderful news for Global Market Week 2024, but it's still a challenge from a sustainability perspective, and still more work to be done. Going forward as an organization, we're determined to continue bringing people together in locations all around the world. We're profoundly convinced that marketers need to be meeting at intervals in person in order to exchange ideas, connect, get inspired, and stimulated by working collectively with their colleagues. And just to be clear, we do not believe that offsetting carbon is a viable response to the climate crisis. However, we do feel there's a case for offsetting until we find a truly carbon zero, carbon neutral solution for Global Market Week. And we're offsetting this year 1,225 tons by investing 20,000 Canadian dollars in a wind farm project in North Dakota. And that project is certified by Verra, which is one of the largest carbon certification companies in the world. Thank you. Now, there's another key topic I'd like to touch upon that we marketers have ignored for far too long. And we're very proud of our creativity, we're very proud of our craft, but have we ever thought about how someone with an impairment, hearing, visual impairment, is actually interacting with our world? This is how they experience a lot of the content that we create. Believe it or not, only 10% of our content is accessible to people with a visual or hearing impairment. And in case you were wondering, how many people are actually affected by that, by an impairment? Here are a few facts. 1 in 4 people worldwide have a vision impairment. 1 in 20 are deaf or hard of hearing. 15% live with dyslexia or other learning impairments. And in case you think, I'm young, my eyesight is great, I can hear perfectly, keep in mind that 1 in 4 of today's 20-year-olds will become disabled before they retire. So if you think it's not a concern for me now, it doesn't mean it won't be one day. And here's a fair question. Do these people actually care about not being exposed to advertising? Is it important to them? And the response is yes, they do care. 45% of people with hearing or visual impairment said they felt excluded from access to information that would help them make better informed choices. Now, we feel advertising should be inclusive and accessible and across all platforms, TV and digital. There's a societal case for it, obviously, but there's also a business case. Accessible advertising will enable brands to reach much wider audiences and help us connect with those audiences much more effectively. And this is why we've joined forces with key industry leaders to set up the Advertising Accessibility Alliance, an action platform for change. We've launched 2 parallel projects in the UK and in France in order to trial how we can scale best practice across the industry. Now, the Alliance has an ambitious roadmap, and you'll hear more about that at the end of this year. But there's no need to wait until the end of the year. There are very simple steps you can take now. Just give you 3 examples. Subtitle all your audiovisual content so adverts can be understood without relying on the audio. Provide all text for your static visuals, even a sentence or 2 to describe your ads to visually impaired people. And ensure the audio makes sense without the visual on all audiovisual content. Very, very simple. Yes, these are small changes, but they can make a world of a difference. I'd like to show you now the replay of the ad I just showed now, but reworked to make it accessible to all.
A tiny baby sleeps peacefully, with a drip attached, her eyes open narrowly. A nurse talks to the mother as the father leans anxiously on an incubator looking at the baby. A Pampers premature nappy is put on the baby. Every day is a fight when you arrive early. And we're proud to be in your corner. The premature baby is driven home fit and well. The only premature nappy donated to hospitals, Pampers.
And finally, there's another priority that we care a lot about, and that's measurement. And I want to talk to you about how advertisers are leading the charge to revolutionize measurement. The majority of our ads all around the world are still measured via legacy media-centric measurement systems. We're in 2024. Digital represents more than half of total global ad spend. We're still measuring separately TV, radio, out of home in a manner that is incompatible. Not to speak about the platforms that won't give us access to the walled gardens. In short, it's a mess, and honestly, it's not tenable. It has to change, and we know exactly what we need. We've got a North Star. We have set out our needs, and just to give you a flavor, without going into all the details, we want to see systems that are always on, so that users can access at any time deduplicated reach and frequency data. We want measurement to be comprehensive. We're not going to settle anymore for snapshots of campaigns. And of course, it has to be balanced with the respect for privacy of consumers. So a pretty challenging list of criteria that the new measurement system needs to meet. And our industry program is called Halo. It's an effort to develop a solution that the market has not been able to provide. We've created a technology that is built on 3 planks. One is trust. It's built on a privacy by design approach and open source code. 2 is credibility. It's not for profit. It's driven by advertisers, so no conflict of interest. 3 is scalability. It's a standard methodology that is applicable across multiple geographies. And momentum is building. A growing group of key players across our industry are joining the project, so really exciting. Now, what's really interesting is we're starting to see this global initiative being translated at a local level by key industry leaders. In the UK, ISBA, in the US, ANA are starting to produce to build production systems on the basis of that code. So the perfect collaboration between global and local. Going through their beta phase now is about plans to launch the system by end of this year, and ANA will be following probably in 2025. So really exciting moment, and we hope to be able in a position, as soon as we see the results of those pilots, to be launching that internationally across the world. Now, lots of stuff going on, lots of really exciting initiatives in a world that is changing really, really fast. Let's now move to today's menu du jour. Okay? And the menu du jour is, we'd like to explore how we can leverage creativity and innovation in order to build brands that are stronger and more resilient going forward. And we'd like this event to be an interactive event. So please pull out your phones and mobile devices and respond to the first question of the day, the first poll question of the day. How would you rate your organization's performance when it comes to creativity and innovation? Bad, set in our ways, improving, slow starter but, mature, becoming a market leader, world class, too hot for Cannes. Okay? Be candid. I promise it's totally anonymous. And we were very keen to hear how you would judge the performance of your respective companies before we start the program. Let's give ourselves 10, 15 more seconds. Here we go. So there are 10% of companies that won't go to Cannes because they're too hot. However, potentially there are 90% who can still go to Cannes, okay? It's actually pretty encouraging, you know? More than half are improving and 30% are mature. So there's still room for progress, but we're starting from an encouraging place. Now, building better brands that are stronger, more resilient, more sustainable, requires a vision, it requires stamina, and that's challenging. But fortunately, there are a number of brands that are leading the pack and that's showing the way. And what a lineup we have today. We have the huge privilege of having here today with us the CMOs of some of the most innovative and boldest brands. They're all going to share their unique stories, but they all have one thing in common. They don't go for incremental change, they go for radical transformation. I'd like to thank our conference sponsor, WFA. A big thank you. See you soon.